Hello, everybody. It's Dave Neal, stand-up comic, host of Bachelor Nation News. Bombshell story came out in The Sun, the U.S. edition, take it with a grain of salt, that says Pete Davidson, former Saturday Night Live cast member and bad boy comedian, was dating Maria Georgas, former bad girl from Bachelor, although I never saw her as a villain. She was sort of edited as one because all the guys wanted her. She was the talk of the town, and that for that reason alone, they made her the bad girl. But she seems to be a girl's girl. She's got tons of friends, lady friends, and I've received some information from sources that's telling me that this story is actually not true. I want you guys to know that before I share it, because not only do I not want to clickbait you, I want to make sure you understand The Sun is hot garbage. Now, could this story be true? Sure. But does Jessica Flynn, senior investigations and exclusives reporter, have some crazy information? Look, when you create one of these stories, and again, I'm not blaming her. It's like she knows where she's making her money. I just don't believe the story to be true. Getting help. And by the way, it is a little dodgy when it involves someone's mental health. So when you tell a story that's not true, plus it involves mental health, maybe this story was released by someone that thinks it'll make him or her look good. I don't believe so. Sometimes it's just a slow news day, and you say, you know what's going to make news? How about let's get Bachelor Nation all riled up? Getting help. Pete Davidson checks into rehab in bad shape after secret romance and breakup with the Bachelor villain, Maria Georgas. Now, as far as secret romance, that means we'll have no ability to fact check. It's like when undisclosed sources say, it's like you can't fact check that. You could just be pulling it out of your booty. So a source told the U.S. Sun about troubled Pete's most recent stint in rehab. And again, will a story like this help him out? Probably not, but also he's probably got bigger fish to fry. A source exclusively told the U.S. Sun that the troubled Saturday Night Live alum, 31 years young, is now in treatment for the second time this year amid his longtime struggles with mental health. Again, he dated Ariana Grande and, a good amount of celebrities. Was it Ariana Grande? Can someone in the comments section let me know who Pete Davidson dated? I'm asking Patreon, patreon.com/Dave Neal. I don't keep a running tally. It's just one of those things you know about. Maybe it wasn't Ariana Grande. Maybe it was someone else. Was it Ariana Grande who dated the singer who ended up leaving this earth? Is that who it was? And then dated Pete Davidson afterwards. He checked into rehab in Florida fairly recently, the insider said of Pete. He flew in on a private jet. I don't know how he's worth that much money, to be quite honest. Saturday Night Live does not pay that well. I know he's done a few other projects, but he's not like crushing it. Either way, good for him. He's in pretty bad shape this time around. He's not in a good place. The insider claimed the comedian's treatment check-in was very recent. He made a cameo at his alma mater, Saturday Night Live, on November 2nd, and was previously seen at The Room premiere in L.A. with friend Machine Gun Kelly. All right, I'm getting confirmation from the Patreon that it was Ariana Grande. Also, oh yeah, that's right, Kim Kardashian, Kay Gerber, I don't know who that is, but yeah, he's been linked to a lot of leading ladies. He was spotted by locals at a restaurant in Kingsport, Tennessee on November 5th, but has been laying low ever since, even on his 31st birthday last week. Secret fling. That's who. Ariana dated Meek Mill before Pete, and yes, he died. So anyway, lots of famous exes here. Secret fling. Pete's latest rehab stint comes after a secret romance with the Bachelor star Maria Georgas, who starred on Joey's season last year. He ended a fling with Maria just before he checked in. The pair had only been dating for a couple months. So what defines a fling? That's the question. Fans may be shocked by the relationship the former couple seem to be hiding in plain sight. Maria has chimed in on Pete's sister, Casey Davidson's Instagram multiple times, and Casey liked the reality star's comments. All right, well, there's some connective tissue. The U.S. Sun reached out to reps for Pete and Maria, but neither party has responded. Rehab redo. Pete has checked into rehab at least 4 times in the past, open about his struggles with mental health and substance abuse. What else do they have to say about Maria? Meanwhile, insiders also said that the Saturday Night Live alum had parted ways with various people in his circle. Everyone is done with him. He's too much of a headache. He's just really hard to deal with, not showing up to meetings. At least one project has been canceled because of it. And they talk about his string of past relationships. Friend Colin Jost stopped speaking with him and wants nothing to do with him, said a source. Again, I just feel like if you're in a happy relationship and you've got a guy like Pete Davidson who's really struggling, how many chances do you have to help somebody? You know what I mean? And I know that sounds cruel to say, but everyone's just looking out for themselves. So anyway, he underwent treatment in 2023, checked back in July of this year, and a source revealed that Pete had left the facility only after a few weeks. In November, the U.S. Sun revealed Pete had once again checked into a rehab, this time in Florida. His last serious girlfriend was Madeline Klein. She was from, what's that TV show called? Outer Banks? Is that what she's from? Pete and Madeline dated for nearly a year, with the insider saying the relationship had run its course and the breakup was amicable. Previously, Pete dated actress Chase Sui Wonders and reality star Kim Kardashian. So there's one of his exes. Oh, no, that's his sister, Casey. Excuse me, that was his sister. And, you know, the point is that, like, New York's it's a large city, but when you're in the same social circles, going to the same nightclubs, the same VIP, it would be fairly plausible that he would meet Maria. Now, it doesn't mean that happened, but it would be plausible. So no word from her as to the nature of that relationship. What's interesting is that Pete Davidson is, of course, the more successful version of the man who won Jen Tran's season, who we have right here. Now, Devin Strader has been compared to Pete Davidson. They've called him Dollar Store Pete, or I could say maybe, Kirkland Pete.
Setting girl, but Maria.
So this is the moment where Jen Tran accuses Devin of following Maria.
But Maria.
The audience.
Not only is that so disrespectful to everything that we had shared together, I just don't understand it.
So Maria then commented days later saying, I want nothing to do with this. Yes, I had a falling out with Jen, but I did not follow Devin back. Listen, Maria is in another stratosphere above Bachelor Nation at this point. You might not believe it. I don't know how she makes her money. I don't know how things are done. All I know is Maria was too good to become the lead of The Bachelor. And for a good point, when you look at Maria's Instagram, well, here's Maria. Let's look at her Instagram. She's got 653,000 followers. First of all, shocking she's not over 1 million, but Instagram has slow growth. But if we look at Jen's only at 551, and Jen was the Bachelorette. So Maria just probably weighed it out and said, you know what? So you become the lead. You get paid $150,000, and you might be like, wow, that's so much money. You had to deal with lawyers, taxes. Let's just say you walk away with $80K. All right, good. That's a lot of money. You can make that back in one brand deal. 1 to 2 or 3 brand deals on social media. You can make that back so fast if you have that size following. If you're Jen Tran as a lead, you're signing a 2-year contract, which means if you want to say, get offered a deal to be the face of Taco Bell, you'd have to get it approved by The Bachelor. And The Bachelor might say, well, actually, we have a deal with Del Taco. Or we feel like a Taco Bell would be below our core demographic, and we don't want to, so they can control your earnings that way, which is ridiculous. And it's actually leading more people to not want to be the lead. So no offense to Jen, Maria would have been a fantastic lead. Jen's season, relatively dramatic, probably for the wrong reasons, but Maria would have been a great lead. She says, I don't want anything to do with it. And now Maria's got that big enough sort of clout that whether it's true or not, she's getting lumped into stories with one of the bigger Bachelor bad boys, Pete Davidson. Let's transition from that story. Oh, you know what? Actually, good point to message this. So Maria was brought up by Greer Blitzer, who was on Zach Shallcross's season. And Greer describes how she and Maria became good friends. I interviewed Greer 1 week ago while I was in New York City for 1 day. I was only there for a day, and it was very chilly, very windy. But I got to tell you, we had the lav mics on. We were having a great conversation, just walking around Nolita, which is the acronym for North of Little Italy. I have to tell you, I had a fantastic conversation. And the more I listened, Greer and Maria sound very much alike. Do you know her when she was going through the hate, you know.
Yeah. So look, like the way that I met Maria is actually a really cute story, and it's actually a very similar way that I met Brittany Galvin, who I'm also really close with.
Right.
I slid in Maria's DM before the show aired, because I went through the cast list, and I was like, oh, she's really cool. This is someone that I actually would like to know, and so this is before I knew anything. I didn't know about anything that was about to go down.
You picked a strong contestant.
So there was like rumors she was villain, and I was like, I'm sure I'll love her. It probably just means she's got a really big personality.
Yeah.
So
villain is anyone with an opinion.
Yeah, and
could be a villain. Like, they want to make Braden a villain. It's like, get out of here. He's the most likable guy in the world.
Exactly.
I called that bullshit from a mile away. I was
such bullshit. Such bullshit. I feel like it's like even like the ones who are like the American sweethearts, or actually when you meet them in real life, you're like, oh, you're not that sweet.
So at that point, we get the sort of origin story of Greer, Blitzer, and Maria. You can go check that out. Just a friendly pitch for you if you haven't watched it. It's on the Dave Neal Show, or you can listen to it on the Rush Hour podcast. Lastly, it is the semifinals of Dancing with the Stars. Jen Tran has already been voted off, but she's been sticking around L.A. with her dance partner / possible boyfriend, and it looks like they're making their way back to the ballroom.
Cartoons Chronicles are back! They're back! We're back! We're back!
So clearly, Jen, the dominant personality with her and Sasha, hey, that works. Yin yang. You know, someone's the loud person and someone's not. So they're going back to Dancing with the Stars. Tonight's the semifinals. Next week's the finals. And people want to know, is Jen with Sasha? It's probably the most interesting storyline in Bachelor Nation right now. There is, put it this way, there is a greater shot that Jen and Sasha are together than there is Pete and Maria were ever together. So we're rooting them on. We'll have to see how it all plays out. On the Morning Rush, tomorrow morning, I'll have all of my thoughts on Dancing with the Stars, along with all the other entertainment and pop culture news. If you really wanted this story, I covered it this morning on this morning's Rush. And then this afternoon, I'll have another episode, which will have all new entertainment and pop culture news. So if you have a 25-minute walk, a drive, a Starbucks run, whatever it is that you need to do, maybe a midday afternoon delight, and you want to put on the podcast, I'm not here to stop you. Just hit the play button and get us some ad money. All right, folks, that's it for me. We'll be back with more right after this.